went on a break. It's time for a very interesting conversation. But yesterday, I was seated with a friend who is from the United States, and I asked him a question: why don't you bring your kids to Ghana? Apparently, his kids, none of his kids, he's got 4 kids, none of them have ever been to Ghana, and the excuse he gave was plane tickets. It would be too expensive if he used to bring all 4 children plus himself and his wife. It would just be too much for him. But then I wonder how Ghanaians living abroad in such situations are able to still connect their children to their roots. Well, seated with me this morning is Portia Agyei, who's the president and founder of the Kid Patriot Club Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you, by God's grace. How about you?
I am great, and I'm excited about this conversation. And I hope that, Nanaya, you are watching, because this conversation is for you. Right. So, you're the president,
yes,
the founder of the Kid Patriot Club Ghana. Kindly explain what that is to us, first and foremost.
Okay. So, the Kid Patriot Club Ghana is an organization, is an NGO, non-profit, that is seeking to raise and groom children who have a heart and a passion to make Ghana what it has to be. So for when we talk about national development, I'll put them into 3 classes: the children, the youth, and then the older people, the adults. So mostly we focus on the youth because, yes, they work and bring in money. The children, we spend on them. So for many times, we don't consider them as people who contribute to national development.
Yeah.
But I believe that if we want a future that we want for ourselves, we need children who think like Ghanaians. And we are almost having a national crisis because now in Ghana, all of us, including myself, we have contributed to or are contributing to raising foreigners in our own country.
Yeah.
So our children cannot identify as who they are as Ghanaians, even though they are living in Ghana.
Right.
So they can't even speak their languages. They don't understand why there is a need to put on the African clothing.
Yeah.
They are questioning it because we have been taken over completely by over-Westernization. And that, for me, is a crisis. We need people who would love where they've been placed, who identify as Ghanaians, who believe that it is the love of Ghana that would push them to do what they need to do.
Okay. So the kids that you've worked with, how long has this initiative been going on?
This initiative has been since 2018.
Okay.
It's informally started in 2017 in my neighborhood.
Okay.
And so I just gathered the children in my neighborhood because I realized that a lot of them didn't know about Ghana. They didn't have histories because a lot of schools are not teaching so much about Ghana to the children. So I gathered them at one 6th March occasion, and then we did a nice little thing in the neighborhood where we learned a bit about Ghana's history, ate Ghanaian foods and snacks, and had Ghanaian drinks. And then other parents were like, oh, this is good. I put this on Facebook, and parents called and said, this is good. Could we scale it up?
Okay.
And so the next year we scaled it up, and this is going to be our 3rd event, the Kids Discovering Ghana.
So I was just wondering how you're able to identify these children to be a part of this initiative.
Okay. So at the moment, we just make it public, to the general public, using parents, of friends and family, going to schools. I mean, we haven't been physically in schools, but then we are talking to people, teachers in schools. And then we are also having partners, for example, like the National Folklore Board, who has folklore clubs in schools. And so we are reaching these children. But at the moment, our focus has been on our flagship event, which is the Kids Discovering Ghana, where we want kids to know Ghana better than they do now. Now,
speaking of knowing Ghana better than they do now, which part of the culture specifically would you say that is not really out there? Like, would you say that, okay, you want the focus to be on the language, on the attire, the dressing? What exactly is it?
Our language is primary.
Okay.
Because it is what makes us, it is the unique identification of who we are. If I am a Ghanaian and I can't speak any Ghanaian language,
yes,
it is pathetic.
Right.
And that is one. Language is of great concern because if we lose our language, we have lost a huge chunk of our culture. Our history, what do we know about the history of Ghana? Where did we start from? And it is important we know the past because the past will help us build onto the future.
Right.
So we know how we started our kitchen, how we used to make muchia, and then how we transitioned to the coal pot, and now we have the gas stoves. And I'm intrigued to know what children want to see their future kitchen to be like. So it's a transition, and the past will help them know or build a better future for themselves. Our foods. We need to love. There is a whole lot about the Ghanaian food, the nutritional value of our Ghanaian foods that are not appreciated.
Yeah.
We would trade that for everything, but not for our own kontomire abum, our own kenke and fish and peppers, you know. I don't want to mention any names, but you know what I'm talking about. We need to have the children taste and love our Ghanaian foods and then appreciate the nutritional value of it.
Okay, now let's come to Kids Discovering Ghana. Okay. That is the new kid on the block, if that's what you put it. So is this the first initiative?
No.
Okay.
So the Kids Discovering, this year is our third event.
Okay.
2018, 2019, and then COVID happened. And so we went on a hiatus. Now we are resuming this year. And the event is basically bringing Ghana to our children. So we are bringing them the Ghanaian food. We have a food sampling that they taste all kinds of things. And then we are bringing them stories of Ghana. And so this year we are having with us Uncle David Donto.
Okay.
And he's coming to interact with the children, telling them about Ghana's landmarks, some historical facts that are interesting and that are key and critical for the children's memory. And then we do amazing storytelling, something that our children cannot miss. Storytelling based on morals. And for this year, we are focusing on using integrity, redesigning a new mindset of integrity and discipline for national development. How can the children appreciate that it is truthfulness, it is honesty that will build a nation? It is not deception that will make us who we are and be proud of our nation so that we don't run away to anywhere. Yeah. Wherever we go, we still are Ghanaians.
A lot of us are running away.
No, we have to come back.
But you know, with everything that you've said so far, what keeps on bringing in mind is the perception that the kids that you've encountered so far, what they've been taught, or the knowledge, the little knowledge that they had about Ghana, or their roots, their hometown and all that, as compared to what you had to do to teach them certain things to some extent. I'm interested, you know, specifically, what were some of the things that they knew? What were some of the things that they've told you that were like, you think this and that? No, it's not like this, it's like that. Yeah.
So I get very sad when I hear children make comments like, Ghana, dear. It already, I mean, for that comment alone tells me that they, even as young as they are, have given up on Ghana. I once asked children, so, okay, I had my kids come back from school. And they're telling me all sorts of stories about King Edward's, the British monarchy and all of that. Yes. And so one day I asked them, what do you know about the Big Six? That was some years back. And nothing. Nothing. So I said, no, this cannot be. And so at our first event, what we did was to bring in Honorable Samia Nkrumah. Okay. And while she was there, it was amazing because the children, and this is the point I'm making here in response to your question, the children could not, a lot of them could not even realize that Kwame Nkrumah, they thought he was just a heroic, a figure, an imaginary figure. So to see that he had a daughter who interacted with them it blew their minds away.
Wow.
So it made it real. And that is what we are doing. We want to make our stories real to the children. They want to know that Ghana started as Gold Coast. People fought for Ghana. People paid prices for Ghana. And how can they also build it so that it doesn't end where we are, but then children, for posterity, children who are coming later, the future generation, will have a country that they will be proud of.
Yeah.
And so our history. And then food, you give them, it's amazing. You give a Ghanaian child gakenke, and they are frowned. What is this? I haven't eaten it before. Nkati cake? No, I haven't had it before. Really? But this is our snack.
Yeah.
These are things that make us. These are things that we need to connect our children back to.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so earlier when I asked about the part of the culture that needs to be worked on, the first one you mentioned was language. So at the end of the day, how can we be able to preserve this in our children, in the next generations to come? How can we preserve this?
Language must be passed on. And all of us we all have roles to play. As parents, as schools, as a nation. It is in our constitution that our languages, our Ghanaian languages, must be preserved and protected. It is clearly stated in there. And I was surprised when I found it.
Yeah.
So how are we preserving our languages? Are we just introducing our children to English language and foreign languages without them having access to it? So in our homes, we don't speak languages. We don't speak our mother tongue with our children. Yeah. So when we speak, they cannot even communicate with each other in other languages apart from English language. We need to work on it as parents. And at this year's event, we are deliberately bringing language to making language a focus. So we have created what we call the language zone, which is going to be manned by the Bureau of Ghana Languages. So they are going to interact with the children in their languages. They are going to interact. So if your mother or your parents are Ghanaians, you enter the zone and they are interacting with you in Ghana. Okay. If they are Evers, they are interacting with you in Evers.
Regardless of the kids having no knowledge of the language.
Yeah, so we are starting from the scratch. Okay. For the very beginners, they will introduce them to at least a word, a phrase. Our aim is that by the time that event is over, every child must go back home with a word, a phrase in their local dialect, in their mother tongue. And it begins from there. When they pick the interest from now, then they can... We would also encourage parents to sustain it. For us as organization, we are going to try to engage the children as often as we can. We are planning with the Bureau of Ghana Languages so that we can build up a Ghanaian language improvement program, which is part of our initiatives, so that we reach out to more people and then help them speak the languages that make them who they are as Ghanaians.
So for parents who feel that English language, if you are to train your child with English language, it will help take the child further as compared to the local language. The local languages would only limit the child. What would you say to them?
That is absolutely false.
Okay.
A lot of us grew up using the L1, the local language, and then the English language. I did. I grew up in the home, I spoke Fanti. I haven't lost the English language because in school, it is our official language. Yeah. And so that's what we use. And so it is easy for us to combine. That is why we have multilingualism. So people can speak more than one language at a time. They can speak 3, 4, 5. It is a matter of interest, and we have to put that interest in them. Initially, I thought, and I give myself all the excuses why my children couldn't speak their local language. Because my first 3 can't speak. I mean, they speak now because there's some sort of competition in the house now.
Okay.
But we give our excuse, oh, the community isn't like before. Everybody is speaking English, and so they can't interact in their language. But it isn't true, I realize. Because when I had our last one, we deliberately decided to speak Fanti with her. If I show you a video of her at 2 speaking the Fanti language, she's a master of the language.
Okay.
The onus lies on us.
Right.
We have to take that initiative. We will help, but parents must be interested. They will not lose their English language or French or Spanish or anywhere. Trust me, if I go and set up a school in the UK or in America, there's no way I would make my language, Fanti, superior to the English language. I must first ensure that I am conforming to the language of the territory.
Yes, first. Yeah.
And that is what we must do in Ghana.
Okay.
And so policy must work. Making sure that children are having access. And parents out there, let them experience this from now.
Yeah.
They need to. It is a must. Because otherwise, we cannot even bond anymore as a people.
Right. Okay. Now let's come to the event itself. When is it happening? What should patrons expect and all that? And the rate as well.
Yes. So the event is on the 4th of August, this coming Friday. It's a holiday. The children will have a lot of fun. We are starting with historical facts from Uncle David Donto, and then we'll follow up with the storytelling. Amazing storyteller, Professor Dr. Sarah Dobaji-Osei from the Theatre of Arts Department of Legon and Lododo Arts Foundation. She is great. She tells stories the way children like it.
Okay.
And then after that, we have the various foods, local foods, to sample. So let the children come and taste Nkati cake, adakwa, and then atadwe milk, and see how sweet it is.
Yeah.
And then they'll have a lot of variety of foods to eat with. And then after that, we have games, Ghanaian games, Pilolo, Alukoto, Ampe, Owari, Ludu, a lot of fun, Sasakroma. I brought this here. I don't know if you know how to play it. You have remembered. Yes. This is what it's all about. And trust me, parents, for nostalgia, they take over these games. So, this is one of the things we are going to do. We call it Infante, we call it Niniba.
Okay.
So you just keep rolling it, and then... Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes, it's so much fun. And then we have the Countess Ball, the Countess itself, the Inte. I've been going around looking for Inte, and I finally found one. I don't know if anyone knows how to play it here. Do you know how to play it?
Does anybody know how to play it? Okay.
Oh, yes.
Right.
So beautiful games. The tie race, the bonframa, where we use the cloth to do the kite, our local kite, is beautiful. These things stimulate the kids' mind as well. And it is important they get engaged in this. The rate is 30 cedis because we are providing lunch for them.
Okay.
We can't keep the kids and then let them go hungry. The sampling is just a little bite of everything, but we need to provide lunch for them. So 30 cedis, you can purchase the tickets online, *713 *33 *76#, or you just call us 0200 397 280. There will be tickets at the gate. Event is starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. And we want to be timely, because this is also teaching the children how to be responsible with time. So 10 a.m. we are starting. We want everybody to come and then enjoy this. Parents should bring their kids and they can stay. Parents stay. We don't charge parents anything. they accompany for free, but they will have vendors for them to buy food from. So Konkonte TZ headquarters will be there with.
So that's the fun that parents could have.
Yes, and they play
event.
as well.
Okay.
They play as well. Yes, they do have a lot of fun.
Right. So the venue once more.
It's at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly AMA complex, the new complex at the forecourts. It's just near Tudu, opposite the Ayalolo bus station. It's easy to find.
Yeah.
Yes, so everybody is welcome.
Okay, so for every one of you who wants their kids to learn about these games, everything in relation to Ghana, this is for you on the 4th of August in front at the forecourt of the new AMA building. Please make sure that you find your way there and enjoy yourselves and learn much more about Ghana. It's a cool 30 Ghana cities. And so, Eleanor, thank you very much. My guest for this conversation has been Eleanor Portia Baffour-Agyei, who is the president and founder of the Kid Patriot Club Ghana.